Hi, good evening. No, start from there. Hi, good evening. If you're watching me doing this, there's been some terrible problem happening at Belazu when we should be doing this live, about 6:30 or something. There's either been a fire alarm, a power cut, or some other natural disaster. So this is the backup video. This is kind of the equivalent, I don't know, of when something happens on a flight and the oxygen masks drop down. So my name's Henry. You may have already seen me earlier in the evening, but I'm talking from from behind into the future. Anyway, I'm going to make a salad. We're going to make a salad, wintry salad, using some lettuce, beetroots, and some other bits and pieces. I'll quickly run through what we should have. We should have a couple of baby gem and some garlic. Only just need half a clove, not very much. Some cooked beetroot, so boiled and or could be roasted as well, and then peeled and chopped up. Some spring onions that are already chopped and in some water. An orange, some basil, and then from the Belazu store cupboard, some muscatel vinegar, verde amanda oil, some preserved lemons, and some for chili paste. Now, you've probably got enough in the box to make a salad for 4. If it's just 2 of you eating, I think we could just do 1 lettuce and maybe half the amount of beetroot. You can keep some for tomorrow. If there's 4 of you, do all of it. But it'll make a good enough to make a nice portion for 2 people, a sort of starter size portion. Right, let's begin. So I'm going to slightly veer from the recipe, only in that I'm going to try and make this a little bit simpler and create less washing up, which is always a good thing. So let's begin. We're going to start making the dressing. Also, sorry, forgot to say you're going to need a frying pan. Non-stick's handy, doesn't matter if it's not. And I've got some of these teaspoon measurers, which I will use to do the whole recipe properly, but you can kind of eyeball it, that's fine. We're going to make the dressing first. So I've got the orange. What we're going to do is we're going to segment it, and then we're going to squeeze the juice out of it, of the pulp from the middle. So I'm going to cut the top and the bottom off, just a little bit, just so we've got sort of 2 flat edges. So top and the bottom cut off like that. See, square top and bottom. Now we're going to cut the peel off like this. So I'm going to, hopefully you can see, but I'll hold up. So you start, get your knife, and then just carefully follow the contour of the orange. That first slice, I've just got a slice like that. Then what you want to do is follow this bit round there. Follow that bit round there for the next slice. So follow around there, just fairly gently. A little bit of movement. You want to try and remove as much. There's a little bit of pith there. We can trim that bit off. You want to try and remove as much pith as possible, all the skin, all the pith, and then keep as much of the flesh. So if you see there, there's just a little bit there, but I'll trim that afterwards. And go all the way around. I think you may have got 2 oranges in the box, but actually 1 is for Ollie's recipe, so don't do it all. We've got, what are we going to put this with? We're going to put it with the beetroots. Beetroot and orange is a good combo. We're going to liven that up with the muscatel vinegar, a little bit of the eartha paste, not a lot, just a little bit of background heat. Anyway, stop talking, keep cooking. That's pretty much done now. A few little bits. And now this next bit, this skin we're going to discard for now. But if you wanted to do this recipe again, you could also put the zest in. Maybe if you haven't got the preserved lemons, it's always good to use everything. So get a bowl. Actually, just a quick recap. All we've done so far is take the skin off the orange. Grab a bowl like this and hold your orange above. Now I've got a normal chef knife. If that sort of scares you a bit, you can use a paring knife. I'll come a little closer. We're going to make an incision just to one side of the sort of inner skin, or the sort of inner pith between each segment. So I've gone down into the middle, and then what you do, and you just turn your knife to the side and flick up. And hopefully what it should do is flick the orange out. You kind of see it there. It just starts to starts to flick out. So go down, flick to the right, and repeat that again. So I'm going to cut down to here, flick to the right, and if you're lucky, it should do it. If it's a bit tricky, just cut as close as you can to that central bit of pith, and then on the other side, whatever you find most comfortable. But that little flick out trick is quite a handy trick to learn, because it also means you waste less of the orange. So we've got those, go around there now. So as I said before, yeah, Muscatel vinegar we're going to blend this with. Really nice, sort of slightly sweet, kind of floral flavour. That's going to sort of accentuate actually the flavour of the orange. It's also going to sort of contrast the flavour of the beetroot. So go to the last couple of things. Actually this, well, I'm just making excuses for my technique now. This is, as most of them have come out fairly easily. I'm going to leave those whole like that, nice and chunky. So skin the orange, and now we've taken the segments out. Now with the skin, all the pulp that's in the middle, I want to squeeze that as much as possible over the orange segments. Now in the book, in the recipe, I've said do it in a separate bowl or something, but that's just making more washing up, and I just realised it's unnecessary. So, and there's going to be a fair bit of washing up this evening anyway. Nobody really likes washing up, I don't think. So squeeze as much juice out of that as possible. Chuck that away. So I'll just rinse my hands. I'll give you a minute to do the same. At this stage, I want you to get your frying pan on and just turn it on to a sort of medium heat. So we're going to start warming up, ready to grill our lettuces. Yes, we're going to grill the lettuces. So on a sort of medium heat onto here, I'm going to go back to the dressing. The next bit is we're going to add quite a few bits in here. This is going to be the dressing for the whole salad. So into here we're going to put the garlic, which where have I put it? So just half a clove of garlic. If you don't like raw garlic, or if you find it a bit aggressive, just don't put it in. It's fine. There's lots of other big bold flavours in the salad, so it's not going to lack of anything. So I'm just going to roughly chop this. Actually, that's a lie. I'm not going to roughly chop it. I'm going to chop it as fine as possible. I'm going to slice it kind of along one way and then the other way, and then we're going to run the knife over it. So cut thin slices like so, and then chop it the other way. Basically chop half a clove of garlic as finely as possible. That's the shortened part of this. And then run your knife over it so it's nice and chopped. If it's starting to stick, then put a bit of salt on your garlic, like that, just push it off. There we are, crush it down a bit and keep chopping. So that is like that, just as not super fine, still can see the bits, doesn't have to be a paste, into the bowl with the orange segments and the orange juice. Give that a little stir now, so I'll grab a spoon, just mix that in now. And just check the temperature of your pan, don't get it super hot, just start getting it fairly hot. What else is going to go in? We're going to put in some of this, the earthy chili paste, new product from Belazu. Going to be used probably more with a bit more effect in a later recipe, so I'm not stealing the thunder from that recipe. I'm putting half a teaspoon in there, which isn't a lot. It is a little bit oily on the top, so if you want to you can give it a mix, just to mix it through. Half a teaspoon for chili paste going into the bowl. And that's going to add some nice background heat. Not going to be too spicy. If you do want something a bit hotter, you can add more, but there's going to be some more hot stuff later in the banquet. It's also going to put this really nice, it's actually sort of very, it almost looks black, but it's actually sort of very dark brown, reddy colour. And that's going to sort of add a kind of nice colour to the oranges. Then some Muscatel vinegar, which is, hang on, I need to check. from my own recipe. I normally just pour it in and sort of when it's about right, it's about right. We're going to do it properly though. We're going to put 1.25 tablespoons of this vinegar. So one there, roughly about a quarter like that. One there. Back to one side. And we'll chop up some preserved lemon now. So open that up. I think in the recipe I said two small or one large. That's one large one, that's enough. Side. How are we going to do this? We're going to cut it into quarters like that. So you're left with a quarter piece like this. What I want you to do next is cut out this flesh. So put the skin side down onto the board, put your knife and run it along between the flesh and the pulp. Not the flesh and the pulp, the flesh and the skin. So you end up with that. So do that for all of them. Normally with preserved lemons you throw or just discard the pulp, but actually it's perfectly edible and also quite good to use. So we're going to use it now, we're going to add it to the dressing, but what you need to do, there are these little pips in the middle. So if you want to pull those out and put them, just chuck them away, or you can just, as you're, just squeeze it with your knife, just crush it down and they'll make themselves apparent. Get rid of the pips, don't want those. And now you've got the pulp here, get your knife and just roughly chop it down, chop, 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 till you've got a sort of rough paste. So that's going to add a bit of texture, a bit of body to the dressing, and obviously a bit more flavour. So it's quite a nice, as I said, bold, zingy kind of salad, something good to start this whole banquet evening off. Perfectly decent on its own. You could add other things to it as well, maybe some feta cheese, or works pretty well with something else as a side. Now we've got the skin. So we're going to slice lengthways this way, like that, and then we're going to slice that way. So we're going to form a kind of, doesn't be too perfect. It's quite nice actually if some bits are a bit bigger, because then you get kind of pops of flavour. And just roughly line that up and then run your knife along there. So to recap in this dressing so far, we've got the orange segments, the orange juice, the muscatel vinegar, the garlic, the earth chili paste, and now we're doing the preserved lemon. So yeah, so with these preserved lemon skin, just chopping that into pieces like that. Then we're going to chop the other way. Right, chop, 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 chop. Now in the recipe I've said put all of it into the dressing. You can do that. I actually just like to keep a little bit back and to put on top. So not too fine. I'm just trying to hold this up with the camera like that. If it's a salad for two, that's actually quite a lot of preserved lemon. If it's just a salad for two, I might not use all of it at this stage. That's actually quite a big preserved lemon. I'm going to keep some of it back. You can always add more if you really like the taste, or if you maybe think it's strong enough. I think you'll be able to work it out. So I've got the pulp and the juice and the skin in there, mixing, marinating, doing its thing. Lastly, for the dressing, obviously going to add some olive oil. So we've got the Verdamanda olive oil here. You lucky lot. This is good stuff, but I think we're going to use quite a lot of it this evening. So about 5 tablespoons or so into this. Often when I make a salad dressing or dress a salad, I often like to put all the sort of acidic ingredients and sort of mix the salad and adjust the seasoning first. But here we're going to put it all together, and we're going to just add it all in, and it actually works really well. It's about 5 plus a little bit more. So all that's in there. So we've added the olive oil now, so that is the dressing more or less complete, apart from some salt and some pepper, like that. Right, mix, 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 and then taste. A little taste, very important. Should be able to get that sort of floral flavour from the muscatel vinegar, and then this kind of backgroundy, lovely sort of gentle warming sort of heat from the earth chili that sort of vibrancy from the preserved lemon, and then a little bit of garlic as well. So that's tasting pretty good with a little bit more salt. And if you wanted to make that ahead, you could, and keep it ready for when you want to do your salad. So put this to one side for a second. Actually going to move this around a bit, make some space. So we're now going to start cooking the lettuce. So I've got this, I'm going to turn it up a bit now. I'm going to sort of turn it medium towards high. These baby gem lettuces work really well for grilling, not necessarily in season, and it's not really salady weather. If anything like it is here, it's really cold outside. But this is going to just add some more flavours, just change the kind of character of the salad a bit. Thankfully, Wellix, thank you very much, guys and ladies. You sent us some lovely clean salad. We haven't got to wash it, we haven't got to peel any of the leaves off. So I've just cut in half now. And with your Verdamanda oil, just drizzle a bit on the cut face of the salad. Not a lot, just a little bit. We're pretty much going to sort of almost dry cook this, kind of simulating the effect if we had it on a sort of on a griddle or something like that. If only we could be outside in the sun having. Right, so face side down. Bit of oil, bit of salt, face side down. And push this heat up now. I've got it on about, yeah, this is getting towards a kind of higher heat. Just push it down a bit. Do be careful, please. Don't burn your fingertips. And you should start to sort of see a bit of steam rise, and you should also start to smell it, this kind of caramelised flavour. We're going to leave those for a couple of minutes, about 2 to 4 minutes, something like that. We'll check them in about 2 minutes, and if they're getting really dark, we'll take them off, or some people will need a bit longer. Whilst those are cooking, let's come back to the spring onions, and which you prepared earlier, and I put these in water just to take a little bit of the sting of the onion flavour out, and also to just crisp them up, and just drain those off. Got a sieve, you can use your fingers or whatever. So that is the drained spring onions. Add your drained spring onions to the dressing. Here we are. So that is all in there now. Give that another mix. That's going to change the character of this dressing again. I love the colour this goes. It's kind of like burnt, sort of burnt orange, burnt sort of umber colour. I'm going to have a look at the lettuces and show you. So this is starting to colour. Ooh, this is starting to colour. But this is quite a strong stove. I've got an induction stove. Just going to whack that down a bit. And all we want to do is just char the outside, and the steam that rises up through the lettuce is going to soften it. And just give it kind of, you're going to get this slightly different flavour, this caramelised flavour of the lettuce. And it's also going to wilt it a bit. So whilst I'm going to give those another minute or two, I'm just going to grab a serving dish. So I'm going to put it on that's a sort of dinner-sized plate. If you want to put it on a sharing plate, that's fine, or you divide it between two. Totally up to you. The last thing we need to prep really is some of this basil. We don't need too much. You're going to have some left over. In fact, you're going to have a bit of food left over anyway this evening. So a good handful of basil leaves, like so, something like that. Probably about 15 leaves. Just give them a squeeze like that. I'll just release some of the aroma. And then just roughly chop, or you can rip. Not too fine. It'd be nice just to get those big punches of flavour. Let's look at the lettuce. So your lettuce is looking a bit like this. You can see the steam coming off, it's blackened. They're ready. We're not looking to cook the lettuce, just looking to kind of wilt it a bit. But there's a leaf left in there, we'll take that as well. It's got this kind of hot, steaming lettuce. I'll give everyone a minute just to catch up. I've no idea how long this has taken, I think it's within time. Chop up your lettuce. You can chop it into wedges, so you could sort of chop it lengthways like this. You can chop it that way. Just leave it a little bit chunky so we've got some nice big kind of uneven sizes. And chuck those straight in the dressing. So grilled our lettuce, grilled the lettuce, and now we've chucked it into the dressing, and we're going to chuck some of these beetroots into the dressing as well. I'm not going to use all of them actually because there's actually no one here to eat it. And now, so everything's gone into this bowl with the dressing in. We put the beetroots, the grilled lettuce, and give it a good mix. Give that a mix and give it a taste. Might need some more seasoning now, so have a taste of the dressing, taste a bit of lettuce, taste some of the beetroot. A little bit of salt for me, maybe for you too. A bit of salt, a bit more pepper. And also just chuck some of the basil in as well. And then put it on your serving plate. So, no particular order, just get a nice kind of mix to get some of the beetroot down on the plate first. And then top with some of the orange and the lettuce. So there's going to be some dressing left, that's great, you can use it again this weekend. And then just finish with some more of the basil and a little bit more of the preserved lemon. That is your first dish of this evening. Hopefully you won't even had to use this video, but if you have, I hope it's all gone well. Right, see you later.